What's up people, hope you're having an awesome day. I'm your host Ayman Hassan and welcome back to another video here at Most Amazing Top 10. Back with more urban legends today you guys, because urban legends are great and we love them and you love them, so it's a win-win situation for all of us, except those of you who are watching this at night alone in your bedroom. I'm praying for those people. Be forewarned, I try to save you. This is the top 10 scary California urban legends part 2. Starting us off at number 10 is Suicide Bridge. Starting off strong, you know how I am. Built in 1912, the Pasadena, Colorado Street Bridge is a scenic drive. It's on a riverbed, it has lamps, there's an old charm about it that makes it romantic almost, but it's also the site of many atrocities. Over 100 horrible suicides have taken place at the bridge that the bridge is actually called Suicide Bridge by most. It garnered such a reputation that in 1993 they installed a suicide barrier on the bridge to try and lower the numbers. The stories of the suicides are also very hard to digest. In 1937, Myrtle Ward took her 3-year-old daughter to the bridge after her husband left her. She threw her daughter off the bridge and then leaped herself, but thankfully her daughter landed in a few thick branches which slowed her descent and left her unharmed, but Myrtle plummeted to her death. Many have seen her ghost on the bridge and in the riverbed below, forever looking for her daughter. Another story is more recent, taking place in 2008, where a man stabbed and killed his wife and grandmother and then killed himself. And that was only 2 stories out of countless ones I could have told you. So of course, with that much death going on there are that many ghosts. Many spirits haunt the bridge, including a man wearing glasses and a woman that continuously keeps mimicking her fall off the bridge. Homeless people camping under the bridge have reported hearing eerie cries and sounds at night, and the ghost of a man who whispers her fault to anyone that walks by, obviously referring to whoever drove him to take his own life, but no one knows who he's talking about. Coming in at number 9 is Alien Blood. I actually read about this story a few years ago and I didn't realize how much of a lasting impact it left on California, but evidently I guess it did. Back in 1984 at Riverside General Hospital, a woman called Gloria Ramirez was admitted to the ER to have her blood drawn, but as soon as it was drawn, the foulest smell filled the room and her skin started becoming oilier and oilier. Then, like flies, the medical staff started dropping, half started passing out, while the other half lost complete control of their limbs. 5 members ended up being hospitalized and 1 even spent 2 weeks in intensive care. The weird occurrence affected over 24 members of staff, which left a skeleton crew to try and save her life. They failed and she died 40 minutes later. Until this day, no one has any idea what happened or what it was about her blood that took down 23 people. They dub it the legend of the alien blood that poisoned the hospital. And to me, I feel like science has a lot of answers for a lot of things, but when something comes up that they can't answer and nearly 40 years later they still can't answer it, that's worrying. At number 8 we have the Lady in White, because every urban legend video would not be complete without at least one ghostly lady wearing white. Hailed as one of the most famous Californian urban legends, the legend is about the thing that probably makes California famous, the Hollywood sign. The sign that has been the backdrop of countless Instagrams and movies and is said to be haunted by Peg Entwistle, a famous actress from the early 1900s. That's so Hollywood, isn't it? An actress haunting the sign. It came full circle almost. Anyway, the legend goes like this. After an excruciatingly harsh review of one of her movies, one people dubbed a career-ending review, she decided she couldn't take the thought of her career ending, and so she decided to end her life instead. She climbed to the top of the H in the sign and threw herself off of it. So based on that, many people claim a lady in white can be seen hiking in the off-limits area near the sign around the place she killed herself. But if you find yourself up there and are hoping to see a beautiful actress, you'd be quite wrong. What appears is an eerie woman with hollowed out eyes and a skeletal face. If she finds you there alone, she can influence you to follow in her footsteps and end your life as well. In the century that followed her suicide, many suicide cases have been reported in the area, and in 2012 police even found a man's mutilated body parts and decapitated head right where she killed herself. Filling our number 7 slot is the prop of New Pike. So Elmer McCurdy was a famously notorious outlaw who died in the early 1900s. In 1911, his embalmed corpse became a sideshow act through Texas for people who wanted to come and gawk at the criminal and his displayed body, or rather his body traveled all over America, eventually landing itself in Long Beach, California. There his body was mistaken for a prop and was hung in a fun house at New Pike Amusement Park. The truth was only discovered in 1976 when a film crew tried to adjust him and ended up dislodging his arm. Imagine going into that fun house as a kid expecting mildly scary props and then coming face to face with a real corpse. I'd never go to an amusement park again. Legit I wouldn't. Now at number 6 is Old Stage Road. Now Old Stage Road is located in Salmas, and it's been the site of horrible deaths, gang-related deaths, lynchings, and a Japanese concentration camp was even located there during the wartime. So due to all that death, countless ghosts and spirits do haunt the road. But this specific story comes from Redditor Moonriver7811, who said his aunt told him a story of when she was young and pregnant. Her and her husband decided to take some back roads as a shortcut and ended up on Old Stage Road. She was looking out the window for a while and she suddenly saw a woman. The woman was keeping pace with the car and just turned her head to look at his aunt, and what she saw scarred her for life. The skin of the woman was so pale it looked almost transparent. Her hair was like white hay. She seemed almost 100 years old. But it wasn't even her appearance that freaked his aunt out, it was the hatred and anger she could see in her eyes. The uncle stepped on the gas and they managed to get rid of her. And the user decided after hearing the story he should also go to the road as well with his friends at 3 AM drunk. The friends went there and stopped near Hangman's Tree and decided to walk on the road, not stay inside the safety of their car. Very stupid mistake, kids. One of the friends decided to pee on the tree, douchebag move, and it's not surprising that pissed off spirits after that. They got back into the car and were switching between CDs when they heard a loud "Get Out" on the radio. After hearing it and realizing it was none of them, they drove for their lives. Half a mile later, one of the friends in the back who had been asleep the whole time screamed, saying she'd had the worst nightmare. She never remembered going back into the car and said she was walking down the street and turned around and saw that the car wasn't there anymore. All of a sudden, an old lady with rotten teeth and claws tried to bite her, and that's when she woke up. Despite the road being old as hell, murders still continue to happen on and around it. Coming in at number 5 is Bigfoot. It's like the most well-known urban legend of all time. I'd argue it was maybe even the first one. But anyway, coming in second to Washington, California has the most reported Bigfoot sightings in the US. The creature, which is said to be a giant hairy human ape creature of sorts, is said to live in the wilderness. Yosemite National Park is said to be the most haunted national park in America because it was Bigfoot's first home. Campers have apparently seen it wander into their camps, to which of course they've screamed and ran away. The weirder part is that Bigfoot has been said to scream louder and run too, which is a bit cute, I'm not gonna lie. In 1962 on Mount Shasta, a woman claimed to have seen Bigfoot give birth, which A, I didn't even know it was a female, and B, now we have a mini Bigfoot on our hands. But I guess that was nearly 80 years ago, so it's probably adult Bigfoot now. Either way, I honestly feel like it's a harmless creature, so why don't we just leave the poor thing alone? It's not harming anyone. I mean, it hasn't harmed anyone yet. At number 4 are the Gates of Hell. A deserted road in Antioch called Empire Mine Road has a gate on its side that locals call the Gates of Hell. And at first glance, it honestly looks like a rundown graffitied gate, and most people wouldn't even notice it driving by, but driving by won't do anything to you. It's crossing in the gates that could hurt you. The first legend about the gates is about an insane asylum that it used to be the entrance to. And it was one of those horror movie asylums. I'm talking straitjackets, lobotomies, shock treatments, the whole shebang. And because of that, many believe the ghosts of deceased patients stalk the area, and some even suffer from the same illness that they had in real life. And the spirits around asylums are usually angrier than ones found elsewhere, and if you cross the gate, you could very well be attacked by one of the ghosts. One group of explorers felt rocks being pelted at them, and when they got back into their car, they felt a giant creature leap onto the hood. The second legend is that it was a slaughterhouse that sat near the gates, and that the spirits haunting it are of the animals. But the slaughterhouse was also home to a horrific murder that happened in 1995. A man came running and screaming out of the slaughterhouse, head to toe dripping in blood, claiming his girlfriend had stabbed him. Before medics could get to him, he died. So there is a lot of bad energy radiating around this gate. Filling our number 3 slot is the statue. A girl named Jessica was babysitting for a rich family in California, so you can well imagine that the house was massive with rooms upon rooms inside. During the night in question, the parents went out for a movie, and so the dad told Jessica once the kids are asleep, she could go watch TV in the living room. And that wasn't a nice move so she could be entertained, it was so she wouldn't wander and snoop around the house. The kids go to bed and Jessica starts watching TV. I mean, she tries watching it but can't ignore the clown statue in the corner of the room. Even though she found the statue a bit out of place in line with the other decor, she let it go, but after a while it started freaking her out so much that she had to call the dad. She asked him if she could switch rooms because the clown statue was freaking her out. The father replied saying get the kids and leave the house and call the police. She started asking him why, but he told her to just shut up and do it now. She ended up getting the kids and going to the neighbors and calling the police. When she later ended up calling the dad, he said they didn't have a clown statue and that the children had been complaining of a clown watching them sleep, but they assumed it was just a nightmare. Listen to your kids, people, listen to your kids. It's so funny, I've heard so many variations of this legend, but I had no idea it originated in California. Now at number 2 is the mass murder. Now this is an urban legend that circulates in California every year around Halloween. The legend has been around for decades, but it really only gained traction in the social media age. Yay for Twitter and mass murder. The legend starts with a photo from 1962 of a bunch of masked figures posing for what seems like a Halloween party picture. Everyone's in a white face mask, but the figure in the middle is in a black hooded one. Legend has it moments after the photo was taken, the black hooded figure locked all the doors to the party and then went and killed 7 of the party members before escaping from the scene. No one has any idea who the man is, and the only thing ever found about the case was the mask itself. Ugh, I just don't like people in masks on Halloween from way back when, like their masks were so scary. And these days dressing up for Halloween isn't scary, but back then it actually was. And finally, at number 1 are the witches. East Bay's Black Diamond Mines are one of the scariest places in California. At the end of the 1800s, early 1900s, the area was a thriving coal mining community, and the people who lived there are still buried in the Rose Hill Cemetery. There are so many ghost stories surrounding the mines, but the most popular one is a story of Sarah Norton and Mary. Sarah was a widow who married Noah Norton, and it was widely known that she was a witch. One day her services were called for in the town of Clayton, but on the way there she was thrown out of her buggy and killed. In life, she was a very religious, pious woman who emphasized how she didn't want a funeral, yet the locals of Somerville felt she was owed one. The day of her funeral, a terrible storm hit the town and it was delayed. The following day, another storm hit, but this time the town's livestock also came charging through it. The townspeople realized that this all could have been Sarah's spirit telling them she didn't want a funeral under any circumstances. Since then, her ghost has been seen floating around town, but mostly lurking in Rose Hill Cemetery. Now on to Mary. It was a very common name back then, as you can well imagine, so we don't know what her last name was, but her occupation was being a nanny. But strangely enough, every single child she cared for ended up dying, and so the town accused her of witchcraft. And usually in these witchcraft cases, an innocent person is accused, but with Mary, they actually found evidence of her sorcery rituals. She was hung soon after and is said to be seen near the mines wearing full white. Honestly, what is it with ghosts and wearing white? Like, is it symbolism? What does it mean? Someone tell me. And there you have it, guys. California is filled with some pretty messed up, scary urban legends, and the less I do these videos, the more they scare me when I do them. Just me. For the Californians out there watching this, how many of these had you heard of before watching this? And what are your thoughts? Talk to me below, but as always, I'm your host Ayman Hassan, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
Top 5 ghosts and haunted houses caught on camera. Hider in the house. A man is hired to remodel an empty house for resale, but as he works, he begins to hear strange noises coming from somewhere inside. He suspects that a squatter might have taken up residence in the empty home.
Doing this cabinet crown, and I think there's a squatter in this house. I think it's in here. Hello? 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 Anybody here? Hello? Hello? The heck is that? Hello? Who is it?
Eventually, the man works up the courage to come back and retrieve his dropped phone. The carpenter says that he will never go back inside the house again. He claims, quote, "There is something evil in that home." So, what do you think? Is this a real haunted house caught on camera, or just a really good fake? The Watcher in the Window. A woman who believes her house is haunted uses an iPhone app that simulates the look of a night vision camera. Eerily, when the picture is tinted green, she does find something that she didn't expect.
No, seriously, I'm like looking at this window, there's nothing out there. It looks like there's a face. That's really creepy. I don't know. I just had a feeling something was like looking at me through my window. And it's kind of got that. I was like, oh, that's creepy. Anyway. Let me know what y'all think.
Now, this might just be a smudge on the window and a bit of an overactive imagination. However, that doesn't explain why the face soon disappears and is replaced by what looks like a misshapen hand.
Oh, not normal.
So is this a ghost caught on camera? Or is it just a trick of the light and a very odd phone filter? Let me know what you think down below. Footsteps. YouTuber Michael D. McGee claims that he's been living in a haunted house for the last 8 years. Over that 8-year span, he has posted over 100 videos of what he claims to be a real ghost caught on camera in his home.
Leave my house. Nah, I'm staying downstairs.
In this video, Michael says that he had been hearing strange footsteps on his stairs. When he went to check the house, there was no one there. So the next time he hears the strange sounds, he starts recording.
Okay, it's like the middle of the day. I'm the only person in the house, and just heard some footsteps going up and down the stairs. I've checked all the rooms. There is nobody in. It's been doing it for about 10 minutes. There it is again. Okay. Camera this time. There's nothing there though. Hello. I'm gonna go. This. Hello? Mike? Charlie?
something that can't be seen on camera seems to run by Michael and go into the bathroom. But when he checks, there's nothing inside. So did Michael D. McGee catch a real ghostly experience on camera? Or is it all just an 8-year-long hoax? Let me know what you think. Behind the locked door. The most popular Pakistani ghost hunting show is Wakahe, which translates to "What is that?" in English. In this episode of the popular series, the 3 hosts are investigating a supposedly haunted house when they begin to hear strange noises coming from the 2nd floor. They start up the stairs to investigate.
यार ऊपर उस देखा भी यार सीढ़ियों पे चढ़ते ही ना लेफ्ट साइड पे देखिए ऊपर
और यार जितने भी
देखिए शाही भाई रिकॉर्ड हुआ है
नहीं लगे रिकॉर्ड नहीं वो तो एकदम से जो है ना भाग कर आई है यार हमारी तरफ.
All 3 men get spooked when they see something moving on the floor above. They flee back down the stairs but manage to capture some very creepy video of the upstairs hallway. It looks as if a girl dressed in white is sitting at the top of the stairs. Calling for their cameraman to follow them, they head up once more.
अभी मैंने इसे बोल दिया कि ऊपर ऐसे लग रहा है जैसे कुछ चीज़ बोल क्योंकि आवाज़ें आ रही थी ऊपर से.
किधर गई यार इधर कर इसी साइड पर नहीं बैठी हुई सामने अभी नहीं पहले आइएगा फर्क बताता हूँ फर्क वही आइएगा पहले फकर भाई ऊपर पे आपको पता है हमने ना तो दवाएं पड़ी थी ऐसे ही ऐसे ही आ गया इस जगह पर ठीक हो भाई इधर करें इधर भाई इधर करें ये क्या लग रहा है पोस्ट पे हिला है ना दरवाजा सामने मूव हुआ दरवाजा यार तस्वीर दरवाजे पे लॉक की जगह तस्वीर यार मुझे लग रहा है वो अगर रिकॉर्ड करें जो बताया गया था ये बताया गया था ना बच्चे का मेरा ख्याल ये वही हो गया हो सकता है वो लड़का अंदर गया था उसके बाद मिला नहीं इसका मतलब फिर उन्होंने ये पढ़ाई करके किसी से ना
अरे इस जगह पे वो बैठी हुई है जहाँ पे हम खड़े हैं।
यहाँ पर थी किसी का जगह देखिए वो यार इधर को करो पीछे सबसे मिल रहा है
अगर वो देखिए रिकॉर्ड करें
रिकॉर्ड
They're shocked to find that not only is there no one upstairs, but one of the doors is bolted shut from the outside and tied with a set of prayer beads. Something seems to be banging on the locked door. So, they open it.
बिस्मिल्लाह करें जी कलाम वगैरह पढ़ लें
असद भाई दाएं हाथ से
तस्वीर टाइप की है तस्वीर शायद भाई देखी कभी आपने
नहीं
यार ध्यान से
फर्स्ट टाइम मैं देख रहा हूँ कि इतनी बड़ी तस्वीर
अच्छा एक मिनट देखिए आप खोल रहे हैं तो कोई मूवमेंट जैसे किसी पता हो
कैमरा कैमरा फकर भाई आगे है लाइट लेकर आए अंदर कोई है?
अगर कोई बच्चा वगैरह है तो वो डरे नहीं।
ओए भाई यार पहले अगर तो वो तो हमारा चलो डाउट खत्म हो गया है कि कोई बंदा इंसान उन्होंने
अंदर कोई चीज नहीं है, कुछ भी
क्योंकि
नहीं है।
अभी वो दरवाजा हिल रहा था ना, तो इसका मतलब इधर ही खड़ा होकर कोई बंदा हिला रहा था, जो भी था, कोई मखलूक की जो भी था इसी जगह पर था, तो अभी उसको इधर ही मौजूद होना चाहिए था, अभी नहीं।
There's no one inside the room. Later in the video, they decide to bolt the door shut again.
ओए इधर मारना, इधर कर। ओए भाई देख रहा था अभी कोई ना,
तस्वीर बड़ी है सामने यार।
इधर से देख रहा था अभी कोई, इसका मतलब वो इसका मतलब अंदर ही है वो अभी ना,
अंदर ये जो भी चीज है वो अंदर ही है यार। जल्दी कर। अस्तगफिरुल्लाह।
जल्दी कर असल।
कर यार जल्दी। चलो यार चलो।
After that, the team just decides to get out of there. Huge thanks to Minahil Hassan, who was nice enough to translate this video for me. Hail Peaker. This next clip was first uploaded over 12 and a half years ago, and may be one of the first viral ghost videos on YouTube. The uploader claimed that he caught this video of a ghost outside of a haunted church in Esholt, UK. So keeping in mind that video editing was much more difficult 12 years ago, do you think he caught a ghost on camera? Or is it just a hoax? You decide. Huge thanks to everyone who submitted videos for this week's countdown. If you want to submit a video, go to facebook.com/nukestop5 and hit the send message button.